Another little take on this story. With all the hoopla surrounding President Joe Biden's trip to Poland and his surprise visit to Kyiv, meeting with President Zelensky, and more bravado from Vladimir Putin, including dropping out of the SMART nuclear treaty with the U.S., and, of course, the Chinese foreign minister insulting U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and then sucking up to Vladimir Putin. Here's one issue that no one seems to be talking about for the moment. That issue is oil. So let's talk about oil. Joe Biden hates oil. Vladimir Putin loves oil. Xi Jinping loves Putin's oil. Now, remember all the sanctions from the U.S., the EU, NATO, sanctioning the Russian central bank, sanctioning the Russian oil producers, sanctioning bank lenders, insurance companies, all that around the world. Remember all that stuff? Well, guess what? Russia today is still selling roughly 10 million barrels of oil per day. And that is basically what they were selling a year ago. Well, how is this possible, you might ask? Well, that would be a very good question. It may be unanswerable. Sanctions really have not worked. But for sure, China and India have been buying up any Russian oil production slack created by reduced European demand. That's, by the way, remember our great friend India. I don't know what the U.S. numbers are. I sincerely hope they're way down. But here's the thought, and I think it's an important thought. With Russia still selling 10 million barrels a day, and the basic ballpark oil price right now, $80 a barrel, that's $800 million a day from oil sales. And there's 365 days in a year. That comes to $292 billion for the year. Now, that's enough to fight a war. Even if your army is terrible and you're bungling the war left and right, and you still have $292 billion. Much of which, by the way, is probably skimmed off the top and stolen by Putin and his cronies, but that's a different segment. Now, consider this. The United States, for the 3 years pre-COVID under former President Donald Trump, the average price of oil was about $60 a barrel. Now, if that were the selling price for Putin's 10 million barrels a day, that would come to $600 million. That times 365 days in a year, that comes to $219 billion for the year. So let me complete the exercise. At today's $80, where Putin gets $292 billion, versus several years ago at $60 billion, where Putin would have gotten only $219 billion, well, then Putin has made a tidy profit of $73 billion for the year, now hasn't he? In fact, the oil price got well over $100 a barrel at the time of Putin's invasion of Ukraine, which greased his pockets and his war machine evermore. But let's stay with the current quotes. That $73 billion profit means that Putin is playing with house money. But it's our, U.S. house. Putin just stood there and watched it happen. And, of course, fought a war. And, of course, probably stole a good chunk of it also. Now, consider Joe Biden, who hates oil. If he weren't waging war against oil, various petroleum products, and all fossil fuels, we might be producing today 14 or 15 million barrels a day. Right now, instead of the roughly 12 million barrels we are producing. 14 or 15 million barrels a day were the best estimates from the U.S. Energy Department a couple years ago. That was all right before COVID. We were, at the time, over 13 million barrels a day. Now, I'm just going to make a guess, pure guess. I'm going to suggest that the world price of oil, if we were producing 14 or 15 million barrels a day, that world price of oil would probably come in someplace close to $50. Just a guess. I don't think it would be 80, and almost certainly, I think a pretty good guess, it wouldn't be 100. So Joe Biden's Green New Deal radical climate obsession and the global petroleum politics that goes with it has really paid off for wait a minute, hang on just a second, for Vladimir Putin and his war against Ukrainian freedom. Now, could Putin fight a war at $50 a barrel? Maybe, but that is not his history. His history is when oil hits $130 a barrel back in July 2008, Putin filched a big chunk of Georgia. And when oil crossed above $100 a barrel in February 2014, Putin picked off Crimea. And roughly a year ago, with oil on top of $100 a barrel, Putin invaded Ukraine. Think about all that, please. Moral of the story? Putin likes high oil prices, doesn't he? Second moral of the story, why is the Biden administration helping him with high oil prices? Third moral of the story, reopen the fossil fuel spigots here in the U.S. It could save the Ukraine, and it will surely be America first again. Okay? That's my riff. Sorry for the numbers, but not for the point.